July 26, 2024. Daily Bread. Passage, 1 Samuel chapter 28, verse 1 to verse 14. Key verse 14. Title: The Philistines prepared to attack. In those days, the Philistines gathered their forces to fight against Israel. Achish said to David, "You must understand that you and your men will accompany me in the army." David said, "Then you will see for yourself what your servant can do." Achish replied, "Very well, I will make you my bodyguard for life." Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel had mourned for him, and buried him in his own town of Ramah. Saul had expelled the mediums and spiritists from the land. The Philistines assembled and came and set up camp at Shunem, while Saul gathered all Israel and set up camp at Gilboa. When Saul saw the Philistine army, he was afraid. Terror filled his heart. He inquired of the Lord, but the Lord did not answer him by dreams or Urim or prophets. Saul then said to his attendants, "Find me a woman who is a medium, so I may go and inquire of her." "There is one in Endor," they said. So Saul disguised himself, putting on other clothes, and at night he and 2 men went to the woman. "Consult a spirit for me," he said, "and bring up for me the one I name." But the woman said to him, "Surely you know what Saul has done. He has cut off the mediums and spiritists from the land. Why have you set a trap for my life to bring about my death?" Saul swore to her by the Lord, "As surely as the Lord lives, you will not be punished for this." Then the woman asked, "Who shall I bring up for you?" "Bring up Samuel," he said. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out at the top of her voice and said to Saul, "Why have you deceived me? You are Saul." The king said to her, "Don't be afraid. What do you see?" The woman said, "I see a ghostly figure coming up out of the earth." "What does he look like?" he asked. "An old man wearing a robe is coming up," she said. Then Saul knew it was Samuel, and he bowed down and prostrated himself with his face to the ground. Daily Bread message. David had been under threat from King Saul. He had taken refuge among the Philistines. While in the service of Achish, David was able to attack and defeat the enemies of Israel. But now the Philistines gathered their forces to attack Israel. When Achish approached David to accompany the Philistines into battle, David pledged his loyalty, and Achish accepted. It was awkward because, in reality, David was loyal to the Lord, the God of Israel. In Israel, on the other hand, Samuel had died, and David had fled. When the Philistines assembled to attack, Saul was full of fear. He inquired of the Lord, but received no answer. In his desperation, he sought help from a medium. He had previously driven them out of Israel, but now he disguised himself and went to a woman at night, asking her to bring up Samuel from the dead. As soon as the woman saw Samuel, she recognized Saul, but he reassured her. He bowed down with his face to the ground. Saul had the appearance of worship, but his disobedience and lack of trust led to being ruled by fear. Prayer. Lord, help me to overcome fear and worship you truly by obeying your word and trusting in you. One word: trust and obey the Lord.